What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to episode number 731 of Underground Sports Philadelphia, presented by the city of Vineland. It's your boy KB coming at you solo dolo to get your Monday started off on the right foot. We've got an electric episode here to break down as the Fightin' Phils take down the big bad Dodgers 2 out of 3 at the bank. We're going to recap the whole series, what it means here in the early go for the Phils, and just the energy down at the stadium. Obviously, CFO Margie and I were down there for our first season ticket game of 2025 on Sunday, and it was absolute scenes. Over 44,000 people in a misty, soaked, insane environment at Citizens Bank Park. We're going to break all of that down. We'll preview a little bit of the upcoming Braves series, and we will also get into the NL East and MLB run differentials, along with some updated standings across the Platinum Plunk Award as we head into another week of Major League Baseball's season. We will also dive into the Women's NCAA Championship. We'll recap that. We will recap the men's Final Four and preview the men's championship that will be going down on Monday night. We will have a live stream for it. It's going to be a time. I can't wait. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. We have some fun stuff planned upcoming over the next couple of weeks that you don't want to miss out on. So definitely follow us on the socials at Underground PHI. You can follow me at KBIZZL311 on Twitter, KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to the pod. Subscribe to the pod. We are the number 7 ranked Philadelphia podcast according to a multitude of outlets. So let's keep that number rolling. Let's keep the subscribers flowing. When you guys subscribe to the pod, it really does help us continue to grow this thing, helps us take it to the moon, and we'll make this our full-time career sooner rather than later. So keep subscribing on Apple, on Spotify. Leave those 5-star reviews. If you leave us reviews, I'll read them on the show. I will read them on the show. I've done an entire episode dedicated to just reading the reviews. Love to do another one. So keep subscribing, keep rating and reviewing 5 stars, and subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That's where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, Underground Circuit, Outside the Box, Top Bins, Streamer Season, Get in the Hole. Am I forgetting anything? Top Bins, Streamer Season, Get in the Hole, Outside the Box, Underground Circuit, Underground Sports Philadelphia, baby. There you have it. So subscribe to the YouTube channel. Leave a like on the video. Drop a comment in the comment section. And click that bell icon so you know whenever new videos go live. We are currently sitting at 1,051 subscribers, which means we're 49 away from our next big milestone of 1,100. Let's keep that cooking. youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. And this show is proudly presented by the City of Vineland, and the City of Vineland Municipal Calendar features city-organized, city-sponsored, and city-affiliated events that are of public interest. The calendar, which is accessible at vinelandcity.org, is a good way for residents and visitors to build awareness, remain engaged with city government, and participate in local events. You can also follow the City of Vineland on social media via their Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube pages. And through these tools, you can stay connected to the community and get important announcements about programs and services offered by the city. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast.
I'm Mayor Anthony Finucci. If you're looking for the right location, think Vineland, New Jersey. Our pro-business approach is supported by financial incentives, workforce development programs, and other resources which can give your business a competitive edge. Whether you're starting a new business or expanding to new markets, our business environment, infrastructure, accessibility, and quality of life make Vineland an ideal location. More information about how we can help your business grow can be found at vinelandcity.org. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Phillies fans everywhere, the boys did the damn thing. 2 out of 3 at the bank. They take from the Los Angeles Dodgers in epic, dramatic fashion. This entire weekend felt like a postseason series. It was awesome to have playoff-adjacent baseball being played at Citizens Bank Park in April. Was such a cool vibe. I was down there on Sunday. We're going to recap the whole series, and our series recap here is brought to you by our friends at 47 Brand. Guys, as you're listening to this, guess what? It is one of the best days of the year. It's 4/7 day. It's April 7th, which means 47 Brand is hooking everybody up. 30% off site-wide. 30% off site-wide today only. 4/7, April 7th, 2025. Through the end of the day, get 30% off site-wide when you use our link in the description and shop with our friends at 47 Brand. It's unbelievable. And here's a 47 family exclusive. When you sign up and create an account on 47 Brand's website, if you spend $75, you get a free mystery item as well. That is automatically applied in your cart when you put everything into the cart. So use our link in the description. You have until the end of April 7th, 2025 to do this. It's one of my favorite days of the year. I take advantage of this so much when 4/7 day rolls around. It's genuinely one of my favorite days of the year. 47 Brand is my go-to hat. Whenever you see me at CBP, I'm rocking a 40. I wore this exact hat that I'm wearing. If you're watching on YouTube, I wore this to the bank for the very first time today. I'm always rocking 47 Brand. I've got it all around me. Another one right here. A beauty. 47 Brand's my hat of choice. I've been wearing 47 Brand for over a decade. It is genuinely my favorite hat. The hitch style is my favorite. It's my go-to. So use our link in the description. Sign up to join the 47 family so you can get hooked up. If you spend $75 or more, you get a free mystery item. And it's 30% off site-wide. Discount is applied automatically in the cart today only. Today only. But use our link so the 47 Brand knows you're coming from us. And get 30% off site-wide to celebrate 4/7 Day. And we thank 47 Brand for being a proud partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. Happy 47 Day, everybody. We love to see it. We love to see it. The Phils, let's start with Friday night's game. And I mean, welcome to Philadelphia, quite literally, Jesus Luzardo, because what a performance from my guy. I tried to tell you all, I tried to preach this all offseason when the signings were made. I said, when the Phillies traded for Jesus Luzardo, I said, oh, this is big time. This is a big-time move. Jesus Luzardo would be a number 2 on a majority of teams in Major League Baseball. And he's coming in and is effectively our number 4, even though he's pitching in the 2 slot. He's effectively our number 4, but he's pitching like an ace, everybody. Jesus Luzardo was absolutely electric on Friday night, and I want to pull something up because if I'm not mistaken, I want to see the last time Jesus Luzardo started at Citizens Bank Park. Because if I remember correctly, his last start at Citizens Bank Park was in the playoffs in 2023. Because I don't think this start May 11th, 2024. This was in Miami. Yeah. That was in Miami. 7-9. That was in Miami as well. 4-11. That was in Philly. So, yeah. Jesus Luzardo's last start, if I'm remembering correctly, was the Bryson Stott Grand Slam game. Obviously, that was not hit off of Luzardo, but the last time Luzardo started at Citizens Bank Park, he was on the Marlins during the playoffs in 2023. I was at that game. And totally different results for him this time around. 7 innings pitched, gave up 2 hits, walked 2, 8 strikeouts. He's tied for the major league lead in strikeouts. He has been unbelievable to start the season, and it is so dope seeing the way that he is pitching right now, because it's a perfect welcome to Philadelphia. You know, this is a guy who not many people knew about unless you were a baseball sicko and you were watching Marlins games or knew, like, by playing fantasy baseball or something, who Jesus Luzardo was. I've been a huge fan of his. I've always thought Jesus Luzardo had every ounce of talent, and I just thought he was in a bad situation in Miami. He has been unbelievable. And to get the strikeout he did, in that game at the end of the 7th inning was spectacular. And I genuinely, said, welcome to Philadelphia, Jesus Luzardo, because striking out 8 in 7 scoreless innings against the big bad Dodgers is one hell of a way to make yourself known to your home fans. And Jesus Luzardo is going to be such a pivotal piece to this team all year long. And the way he pitched was magnificent. He dominated in so many ways. And, yeah, when he struck out Kike Hernandez in the bottom of the 7th inning, 2-2 pitch, runners on the corners, 2 outs, and gets Kike swinging, the energy he exuded and the excitement that overcame him felt like the playoffs. It was his moment, and Jesus Luzardo is going to be a fan favorite every 5th day in this rotation. I can almost guarantee that. It's so cool that this Phillies rotation is loaded with dudes, and the fact that each and every one kind of has their own fandom. Obviously, everyone loves Zach Wheeler. I'm part of the Aaron Nola hive, just like our boy Mark Kremer is, and a bunch of other people who, if you are, you know ball. Ranger Suarez, I've been a huge Ranger guy his entire career. Christopher Sanchez, I've been a huge fan of as well. I love this entire rotation, but there's Phillies fans who love particular, starting pitchers when they're on the mound every 5th day. I think there's going to be a lot of people who become Jesus Luzardo fans as this season rolls on, because the dude is electric. He brings the juice every single night, and what's not to love about a guy who knows how to rock a pair of sports specs and look good doing it? What a debut at Citizens Bank Park in a Phillies uniform for Jesus Luzardo. And on top of that, it was announced on Friday night that Jesus Luzardo is launching the Striking Out Barriers initiative to support youth communities in Philadelphia, alongside the Boys and Girls Club of Philadelphia. So in 2025, the Jesus Luzardo Family Foundation will donate $100 for every strikeout Luzardo records for all home and away games. This is super cool. This is super cool. Luzardo said, "The initiative is deeply personal to me. Every strikeout now has a greater purpose, and I hope we can rally support to help more kids get the opportunities they deserve." This is super cool. The Luzardo Foundation believes in the mission of providing a safe space where children can not only feel secure but thrive academically. This is so awesome. I'm totally going to try to figure out a way to get more involved with the Luzardo Foundation, because I think he's going to be such a great part of this community, be a great part of this team, and for him to just ingratiate himself in Philadelphia right off the rip tells you he's in this for the long haul. And I couldn't be more excited to continue seeing him pitch. He's going to pitch against St. Louis, I believe, in the upcoming series. I don't know if the Phillies have named their starters yet for the Braves series, which I will double check here. So Zach Wheeler's starting game 1, which is amazing. Game 2 will be Taiwan, and game 3. Okay, so Luzardo will pitch in the Braves series, which is awesome. Which 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That might set him up to pitch against the Marlins, which would be awesome as well. But Luzardo was electric. Matt Strahm, 2/3 of an inning, got 1 strikeout, gave up 2 hits. Jose Ruiz came in to clean things up. Jordan Romano made things interesting. Gave up the home run to Tommy Edman in the game, but the Phillies got to strike him out, throw him out. JT Realmuto showing off why he's still the best catcher in baseball in this game. He had 2 plays. 8th inning, throws out Shohei Ohtani trying to steal, and then gets the strike him out, throw him out play. JT has had a phenomenal past couple of days. Has really showed a lot to me, and showing that he still got it. Not only from the offensive perspective, but like the defense stuff has never really left JT, and I just hope that continues whenever he's behind the plate, catching for whomever. Great part about Friday's game, Kyle Schwarber walked twice, Trey Turner walked, Bryce Harper walked, Max Kepler walked. Phillies showed some plate discipline, which was very nice. Bryson Stott got a hit in this game, was 1 for 3, drove 1 in. Brandon Marsh had an RBI. JT was 1 for 3. Nicky C was 2 for 3 and scored a run. Kepler scored a run in this game. Trey Turner scored a run in this game and had a hit of his own. It was a great team game across the board. They did just enough to win, and got the job done. And it was an electric environment and felt like a playoff game. Watching it at home, you were on the edge of your seat the entire time, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching it and handing the Dodgers their first loss of the season. That was fantastic. That was great. It was one of those things where it was like, oh, the unbeatable Dodgers, they're just gonna go undefeated the whole year. No, the big bad Dodgers ain't never seen a team like the Fightin' Phils. Okay, and Luzardo, JT, fantastic in this game, just fantastic. Nick Castellanos was great as well. We'll talk more about him from Sunday's game in just a bit. But Luzardo, what a welcome to Philadelphia, my man. What a brilliant performance on Apple TV. It was a great job by Luzardo and JT in this one, and the Phillies, give the Dodgers their first loss, and they threw the Dodgers off their game quite a bit. And I think when you see this Phillies team not swinging at everything like we have seen them do, especially last year, and it was a big part of their downfall, when they're disciplined, when they're taking pitches, this team can be lethal. And we'll talk about it more on Sunday's game because that's exactly what they did. But when this team is patient, when they are methodical, when they wait for their pitch to come to them rather than trying to force things to happen, they're as lethal as any team, if not the most lethal in all of baseball. So that's something that really showcased itself to me. on Friday night. I was very impressed, and obviously Jesus Luzardo and JT Realmuto were the stars of the game for your boy. Saturday, though, was quite the different approach, and I was very annoyed with Saturday's game, to say the least. I think Saturday was one of those relapse games. I think Saturday was frustrating for a lot of reasons because people like to use Aaron Nola as a scapegoat, and Aaron Nola pitched a quality start in this one. Is it annoying that Aaron Nola gave up 2 home runs on Saturday? Sure. But he only gave up 3 earned runs against the big bad Dodgers, and that shouldn't be a nail in the coffin for this team to go out and not win a ball game. They need to be able to apply pressure, be disciplined, and if they fall behind, not succumb to their opponent. 3 runs is not all that much to overcome, especially when you're holding the Dodgers to 3 runs. 3 runs on 7 hits. The Phillies had 4 hits the whole game. Kyle Schwarber did his thing. It was a good Schwarber night. Again, Schwarber's been on fire. But at the end of the day, this team can't just rely on Kyle Schwarber to be the end-all, be-all when it comes to the offense. He had the hit, scored a run, but you need more. Trey Turner was 1 for 4. Bryce Harper was 1 for 3 with a walk. Max Kepler was 0 for 4. Nick Castellanos was 0 for 3. JT was 0 for 2 with a walk. Bryson Stott was 1 for 3. Brandon Marsh was 0 for 2. Edmundo Sosa was 0 for 1. That's nothing against Sosa. He's coming in as a pinch hitter. It's no big deal. The thing that irked me the most from Saturday was Alec Bohm. And if you guys have listened to this podcast for any iota of time since 2020, you know that we are big Alec Bohm fans. We have been supportive behind Alec Bohm 120,000%. But what he did on Saturday at the plate, and don't get me wrong, he had a great game in the field. So, at least he had that. But at the plate, Alec Bohm, sure, he drove in an RBI. But he went 0 for 4 and saw a total of 5 pitches. This was a big issue for Alec Bohm in the postseason and towards the tail end of last year, too. To which I said, I think a lot of it was his hand injury, and I still believe that. I still believe last year was more his hand injury than anything else. But Alec Bohm is too much of a veteran player now. You've been in the league 5 years. You are 29 years old. 28 years old, whatever. Yeah, 28. You need to be more disciplined, my man. I love Alec Bohm. I want nothing but success for this dude because he's been my guy from the jump. When everyone doubted that he could stick at third base, I was behind him. But I need him to realize swinging at the first pitch is going to kill this team time and time and time and time again. Not allowing yourself to work counts against pitchers, whether it be starters or bullpen pitchers, is going to be disastrous. Tanner Scott threw 3 pitches in the 9th inning against the Phillies, coming in relief. 3 pitches, 3 outs. You cannot, especially against the Dodgers, you cannot do that. It is It is organizational malpractice to do that. Somebody needs to sit Alec Boehm down on this plane down to Atlanta and hope to all the baseball gods that he sat on the bench today on Sunday, because he did not play in Sunday's game, and he sat and watched what Rafael Marchand did, what Max Kepler did, what these guys did to draw walks by taking pitches. Not every pitch on the first pitch you see is going to be your pitch. This isn't college anymore. And Boehm has to be mature enough to realize that. And I don't know why he continues to have the plate approach he does. But if he doesn't figure it out quick, Edmundo Sosa is the hottest hitter in baseball right now, and he's going to be playing at third base a whole hell of a lot more than Alec Boehm is if Alec Boehm doesn't figure something out. And this is not me bashing Edmundo Sosa, because I love Edmundo Sosa. I love what he's doing for this team right now. But Alec Boehm also needs to figure things out at the same time. And Saturday's game was just abysmal from him. And I know Topper said that it was a scheduled day off on Sunday. But guess what? Even if it wasn't, I don't blame him for sitting him. You can't play Alec Boehm the next day after the performance he had at the plate. I don't care how well he played in the field. You have to send a message. And he did. And I was very pleased with Topper's decision today to sit Alec Boehm, because Saturday was inexcusable. Aaron Nola did not pitch poorly. You know, he didn't get the strikeout numbers that you typically want to see from Aaron Nola, but he gave you 6 innings, only gave up 3 earned runs, 1 walk. The Phillies need to be able to overcome that. But on top of that, Joe Ross was great in relief. Tanner Banks was great in relief. You have to be able to score more than 1 run in the first inning to beat the Dodgers. Like, it's just that plain and simple. You know, you can't get complacent against them. They have come back in far too many games so far this year to win that. Feeling like you can win 1-0 against them with the lineup that they have, with the bullpen that they have, with the starting pitching they have, is crazy. But nonetheless, a rubber match was scheduled for Sunday afternoon at the bank. Sunday service at the bank. And the Philadelphia Phillies came to play. This was one of the most impressive games I've seen from this iteration of the Phillies in a multitude of ways. First inning, Teoscar Hernandez goes yard, hits a home run. Dodgers go up 2-0. The only reason that ball left the park was simply because the wind picked up and it carried that ball out. It was not hit all that hard, and I think if there was no wind, that ball probably dies or it's a double. It was unfortunate, but the Phillies go down 2-0 early. But then the 6-run third inning rolls around, and it all starts with a Rafael Marchand walk. That's where it all begins. It was a beautiful display, and I'm pulling up everything, sequence of events here for you guys, because I had chills watching this inning, because this was everything I've ever wanted from this Phillies team. Rafael Marchand got things started against Tyler Glasnow. The rain was coming down. Glasnow was bitching and moaning about not being able to plant his feet in the pitching mound, and Marchand walks. And then Kyle Schwarber comes up and walks. And then Trey Turner comes up and walks. And then Bryce Harper comes up and loops one into left field for a base hit that drives in Marchand. And then one gets away. Max Kepler up to bat. A run comes in. We have a brand new ball game as Kyle Schwarber scores. And then Max Kepler draws a walk. And then Tyler Glasnow leaves the game. And then the first pitch that Vesia pitches to the man, the myth, the legend, Nick Castellanos. Nicky C goes absolute yabo on a pitch. The first one that he sees from Vesia, and takes it tank shot, moonshot, skyrockets it to left field for a grand slam to put an exclamation mark on a 6-run third inning, all with no outs. All with no outs. It was a sight to behold. And then on top of that, the Phillies continue. Their stretch in this game. As the Dodgers answer, Teoscar Hernandez hits another home run, somehow sneaks off the foul pole. The Dodgers have a 3-run 7th inning, which was quite annoying. The Phillies answer with 2 more in the bottom of the 7th, and then the bullpen comes in and locks it down for Christopher Sanchez, who went 5 2/3, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 1 walk, 9 strikeouts for Sanchi. Jose Ruiz comes in for a third of an inning. Jordan Romano gave up those 3 earned, which was quite the inning. He did not record an out. Gave up a walk, 3 earned runs, 2 hits. Orion Kerkering comes in, gives up 1 hit, gets out of the mess. Matt Strahm comes in, easy 1-2-3, gets a strikeout, and then Jose Alvarado seals the deal and locks it down in the 9th inning, and he looked fantastic. It was a playoff atmosphere at Citizens Bank Park on Sunday. It was something I've never really experienced from a game in early April. It was genuine. It felt like an October night, but it was the daytime, and it was April, and it was cold. Not all that cold, but it was rainy. It was misty. But there was 44,000 plus people at Citizens Bank Park today. Way too many Dodger fans. And I'm like, where do you even come from? Because how do you become a Dodger fan on the East Coast? I digress. But a stadium that was majority Phillies fans, obviously, because we ain't going to let anybody take over the bank, made that place feel like it was the playoffs. And it was such a fun environment to be a part of. And the boys were disciplined. 11 walks from this team. Kyle Schwarber walked twice. Trey Turner walked twice. Bryce Harper walked. Max Kepler walked twice. Brandon Marsh walked. Rafael Marchand walked 3 times. Your 9-hole hitter walked 3 times in this game. Scored a run. It was a discipline masterclass from this Phillies offense. They did everything that they had to do to put together stretches in this game and come out on top. And the fact that they battled from being down 2-0 early, put up a 6-piece in the 3rd. The Dodgers score 2 in the 4th and 5th total, so they score 1 and 1. Then they score 3 in the 7th, but then you answer with 2 of your own. It was back and forth, felt like a playoff game with a series on the line, and it was an atmosphere that I was so thrilled to be a part of. The vibes were great. You know, with fans, we never quit, and that was the best part about this game. Excuse me. You were down early. You battled back. The Dodgers claw back. You know, they go up 1, but then you answer. That is the sign of a good baseball team, is that you're able to answer your opponent's move. And, you know, the Phillies did a great job. They got Glasnow out of there in the 2nd inning, but they had to deal with the bullpen. And the Dodgers bullpen is not like most bullpens. They have a lot of talented arms back there, and they handled them perfectly. They got to Jack Dreyer a little bit. Casty obviously popped Vesia. Tyler Glass, now they got after him. They got after Blake Trinan. They got after Luis Garcia as well, which was really cool. Drew 3 walks against him. And the Phillies walk away victorious. And Edmundo Sosa, everybody, who got the start in today's game, 2 for 4 with an RBI. And Edmundo Sosa continues to be the hottest hitter in baseball. He is currently hitting .563 with 9 hits and 16 at-bats. Has driven in 5, has scored 4 of his own. His on-base percentage is a .588. He's slugging .813. His OPS is 1,401, and his OPS plus is .296. The guy is raking. Raking. And it is so fun to watch because he's having so much fun out there. And I think it's making the lives of Bryson Stott and Brandon Marsh that much easier when Sosa's in the lineup because he kind of splits them up. And what a job by Marchand to be so disciplined. Marchand hasn't played all that much this year. I think he's played maybe 2 or 3 games. Let's see. He's had 5 plate appearances officially. So he's played in 2 games, I'm pretty sure. Because he played in 1 in D.C. and then today. That's fantastic. If you're going to get that from Marchand when he plays and he's going to be that disciplined at the plate, I'm very excited for the direction that this team can go. The big bad Dodgers came to town, everybody. The Dodgers were supposed to be this unstoppable force, this immovable object coming into Citizens Bank Park. And they're supposed to steamroll anybody that's in their way. And guess what? The big bad Dodgers ain't never met a team like the Fightin' Phils, okay? That's number one. Number one is the Fightin' Phils. The big bad Dodgers haven't come to the bank in a long time and found success. Just for a little context, the Phillies and Dodgers have gone at it, head-to-head for quite some time. And if we look at some stats here, if this is correct, yeah, so in the Rob Thompson era of full-time managing, in 2023, the Phillies went 2-4 against the Dodgers. 2024, they went 5-1, and this year they are 2-1 against the Dodgers. So that's 7-2 in their last 9 against the Dodgers. And they are 9-6 in the full-time Rob Thompson era against the Dodgers, which is pretty sweet. 14-13 in the 2020s against the Dodgers. The Dodgers are billed as this big behemoth, and they are. They're the defending World Series champ. I'm not going to discredit that. But the way that some people talk about the Dodgers, where they are this unbeatable team, like they can't be beat. There's no formula to beat the Dodgers. Baseball's such a weird sport that if you're just on your P's and Q's, you're going to find ways to win games. And the Phillies are talented enough to go up against the Dodgers team and go pound for pound, go blow for blow, go hit for hit, pitch for pitch with the Los Angeles Dodgers and be successful. But so many people, so many Phillies fans too, mind you, and Phillies media and radio hosts, there's so many people that were so skeptical and negative about this Phillies team coming into the year. And I get that it's April. I get that we're 9 games into the season. But guess what? This is just the 11th time that the Philadelphia Phillies have won their first 3 series to open a season in franchise history. The 11th time that's happened for a team that's been around since 1883. And you're telling me they're not a good baseball team? You're telling me that I shouldn't believe in this baseball team because of what happened in a fluky playoff series against the weirdest, hottest team in baseball last year in the New York Mets? That was last year. You throw that away. This is a brand new season. This is a brand new team. Brand new vibes. And I love the way that they played on Sunday because it showed to me that they're not going to quit. They've got this fan base behind them. When you're at the bank, you're behind this team. You should be, at least. And they're going to do everything in their power to find ways to win baseball games. And they did that on Sunday. They won a massive series. And I know how much credence and stock can I put into a series, KB, this early in the season. I think you can put a lot of stock in this series. The Dodgers were undefeated coming into Citizens Bank Park, and everyone was talking about it. This was a big series that was built up, by the national media, by local media, by everybody. And the Phillies answered the bell. No pun intended. They came to play. They took 2 out of 3 from the defending World Series champions, the previously undefeated Los Angeles Dodgers, and in a lot of ways made them look silly. They obliterated their starting pitching on Sunday in a series-deciding game. They made their base running look foolish on Friday, and the entire Phillies pitching staff made Shohei Ohtani look abysmal in this series. Abysmal. Shohei walked in this game, and it shouldn't have been a walk. It should have been a strikeout. But the umpires, a little bit of blindness there from them. So Ohtani scores a run, but goes 0 for 4 when it came to hitting at the plate. Goes 0 for 3 with a walk on Saturday against Aaron Nola and crew. And then on Friday, goes 1 for 4 and got caught stealing. Shohei Ohtani had 1 hit in this entire series. 1 for 11 in this series. I don't know how many times he struck out, but it was a hefty amount. It was a hefty amount. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, shout out to the good fight. Shohei Ohtani versus the Phillies this weekend. 1 for 11, 0 home runs, 0 RBI, 5 Ks, 2 walks, 1 run scored. He looked foolish. And, hey, Citizens Bank Park is one of 2 places that Shohei Ohtani has not hit a home run in his career. It's here in Cincinnati. He comes to Philadelphia, and the bright lights of the city of brotherly love get to Shohei Ohtani. What can I say? Now, I respect Shohei a lot. I think he is one of the most talented players of our lifetime, and one of the most talented players that will ever suit up in the game of baseball. But what the Phillies pitching staff did to Shohei Ohtani, not only this weekend, but have done to him in the past, even when he was with the Angels, he's looked foolish. at Citizens Bank Park. It's fascinating, and it's a phenomenal testament to Caleb Cotham and the pitching coaches on this team for their overall approach to getting Shohei Ohtani out. It's super impressive to watch, and there's not many teams in Major League Baseball that have the arsenal of pitchers that the Phillies have to do that. There's not many teams that have the starting pitching to do that to Shohei Ohtani or the bullpen. And Jose Alvarado was phenomenal against Shohei in the ninth inning to set the table there and get the first out of that ninth inning. And I was just blown away by the way that this Phillies team came together from Jesus Luzardo and JT Realmuto on Friday. Aaron Nola did his thing on Saturday. The offense just let him down. And then on Sunday, to come into the arena and it be a playoff atmosphere, going blow for blow, Nicky C blasting one, Teoscar Hernandez providing almost all of the offense for the Dodgers and being the villain of this game. The Phillies corralling Shohei Ohtani, limiting Mookie Betts. It was an unbelievable series. It was so much fun, and it made Citizens Bank Park have a postseason allure to it in early April in the third series of the season. You can't ask for more. Multiple sellouts, if I'm not mistaken, in this series as well. And it was just everything a baseball fan could ask for in an early season bout between two heavyweight contenders that many people believe will be battling each other when October rolls around in the NLCS. Which 7 games of Phillies-Dodgers in October is going to put a lot of damage and stress on people's hearts. I'll tell you that much, because even today, just one game, the back and forth of Sunday's game, being in the arena for that was a spectacle in and of itself. It was unbelievable. But a phenomenal series from the Fightins to get that done. This is a momentum series. This will propel you for this next road trip against the Braves and the Cardinals, and I'm very proud of this team. I'm very proud of the way that they played. They should be proud of themselves, and if you're a Phillies fan that was skeptical about the way that, they were going to play or any of that, this series should tell you a lot about how great this team is. And I would be remiss if I did not include how utterly blown away I was by the diving catch that Brandon Marsh made in the outfield in this game. Helped prevent a run from scoring, and genuinely might be one of, if not the best play I've ever seen Brandon Marsh make in center field. It was a spectacular play. A spectacular play. Brandon Marsh works his ass off, and he gets a lot of hate because I think a lot of people try to do the trope of athletes and pit teammates together. Guess what? Brandon Marsh is going to be the starting center fielder for this team. He's going to figure things out at the plate. Johan Rojas will get his time to play as well. And he's been great when he's played. Guess what? I'd rather have an embarrassment of riches as a team than have parts of our fan base rooting on the downfall of someone because they like another player more. Brandon Marsh, the Phillies don't win this game today if Brandon Marsh doesn't make that play. That felt like the juice play that motivated this team to victory. That diving defensive, catch in center field for Brandon Marsh, that might be the play of the game. That was the juice play. I know Nicky C went tank shot on that grand slam, and it was unbelievable. The energy when that happened, when that place erupted. Nicky C took the non-existent roof off of Citizens Bank Park with that grand slam. But I think the play that was like the key to the game was Marshy making that catch in center field. From a defensive perspective, from that angle, what he did there, I think, really propelled the game for the Phillies to go out and win it. It was fantastic. So shout out to Brandon Marsh for making that play. And, man, Nick Castellanos, bro. That's why he's our guy. He's been our guy for a long, long time. He's been our guy for a long, long time. And a lot of you idiots doubt him. And a lot of you idiots question what he does for this team and what he does for this clubhouse and what he provides. It's shit like that that gets you juiced. And Nicky C had a great series against the Dodgers. Man, what a guy. What a guy. What a guy. Let's get into the NL East and MLB run differentials, as well as the Platinum Plunk, which we'll get to as well. But our run differentials are brought to you by our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Guys, if you want to stand out in the crowd, whether you're going to a tailgate, going to Citizens Bank Park, going to Subaru Park, you want to rep the Flyers and Sixers as they get ready for their respective draft lotteries, or you want to gear up on some Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles merch, PHI Apparel Company is the place to do it. Plus, on top of that, they have your official Underground Sports Philadelphia podcast merch. That is the place to do it. And if you want to support the podcast, that is the most effective and direct way to do it. Because when you buy merch, we get a cut of the merch sale, which helps provide for this podcast and helps us do a lot more for and with you guys. So go to phiapparel.co, and when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your next merch order from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Again, that's code UNDERGROUND for 10% off your next merch order from our awesome merch partners at PHI Apparel Company. Stand out in the crowd and rep your favorite Philly sports team and your favorite Philly sports podcast with the official merch partner of our network. It's PHI Apparel Company. The NL East run differential is cooking. It's looking like this. The Phillies sitting atop the division at 7-2. They've got a plus 16 run differential. They've scored 45 runs, given up 29. The New York Mets are right behind us. They're a game back at 6-3. They've scored 33, given up 22 for a plus 11. The Miami Marlins are in third at 5-4, and they've got the most Marlins run differential of all time for being above 500. They've scored 33 runs themselves, just like the Mets. Have given up 42, so they have a negative 9 run differential. The Washington Nationals are 3-6. They've scored 34 runs, the second most in the division. They've given up 46. They have a negative 12 run differential. And the Atlanta Braves are 1-8. They've scored 24 runs, given up 36, and they also have a negative 12 run differential. The Cubs are sitting atop the NL Central. They have a plus 21 run differential. The Brewers are 5-5, gotten back to 500, but they still have a negative 22 run differential. The St. Louis Cardinals are 4-5, have a plus 1 run differential. They've scored 62 runs, but they've given up 61. The Reds are 3-7 with a plus 1 run differential, and the Pittsburgh Pirates are 3-7 with a negative 22 run differential. Not looking good across the other side of the state. We go to the most competitive division in the National League, in my opinion, the NL West. The San Francisco Giants are on top. They're 8-1. They have a plus 19 run differential. The Dodgers are 9-2. They have a plus 22 run differential. They've scored 57 runs, which is the second most, just behind the Cubs, because the Cubs have played one more game than them, but the Cubs scoring runs. They're just giving up a lot as well. The Padres are 8-2. They have a plus 18 run differential. The Diamondbacks are 5-5 and have a plus 7 run differential. And the Colorado Rockies are 2-7 and have a negative 12 run differential. And then we head to the American League, where the New York Yankees sit atop the AL East at 6-3. They have scored 76 runs, which is the most in the AL. They have a plus 31 run differential. The Red Sox are 6-4, and they have a plus 18 run differential. The Blue Jays are 5-5 with a negative 6 run differential. The Rays are 4-5 and have a plus 6 run differential, and the Orioles are 4-6, and they're even Steven, everybody. They have a 0 run differential, 47-4, 47 against. The Detroit Tigers are in first place in the AL Central at 5-4. They have a +6 run differential. The Kansas City Royals are 4-5. They are also even Steven, everybody. They have 36 runs scored, 36 runs against. The Cleveland Guardians are 3-6. They have scored 34 runs, given up 51 for a -17 run differential. They are a team to look at because Emmanuel Clase could be on the market if the Guardians are not good this year. Looking at his contract, he signed a 5-year, $20 million contract, and he's under contract for this year and next year with club options for 2027, 2028. I'm just saying. That is something to keep an eye on for sure. 27-year-old closer. I'm keeping my eye on Emmanuel Clase and low-key praying on the Guardians to be pretty bad around the trade deadline so that the Phillies can be in the running to go and get a pitcher like that. The Minnesota Twins are 3-6. They have a -12 run differential. And the Chicago White Sox are 2-7 and have a -5 run differential. They're on a 2-game losing streak, I believe. The Rangers are 8-2, but they have a -1 run differential. The Angels are 6-3. They have a -1 run differential. The Astros are 4-5. They have a -9 run differential. The A's are 3-6. They have a -21 run differential. And the Seattle Mariners are 3-7, and they have a -16 run differential. Negatives all across the AL West. And those are your NL East and MLB standings and run differentials brought to you by PHI Apparel Company. And now let's head on over to the Platinum Plunk standings. If you're new to the podcast, welcome to the Platinum Plunk. It is brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, the official beer partner of Underground Sports Philadelphia. It's a refreshing light beer, just 4.1% ABV, 120 calories, just 8 grams of carbs. Go to kenwoodbeer.com. See who's got Kenwood Beer on tap in the Philadelphia, New Jersey, Maryland, Delaware, and Pittsburgh areas. Or you can find it at your local liquor stores in those markets. Again, that's kenwoodbeer.com. Must be 21 or older to do so. And, of course, please drink responsibly. The Platinum Plunk Award is our way of keeping baseball fun and keeping track of the guys who are the biggest of team guys and taking one for the team by getting hit by pitches. So we're keeping track of the Major League Baseball team, player, and Philadelphia Philly who has been hit by the most pitches in a given season. We started keeping track of this last year, and we'll keep it moving forward as the years go by. Right now, your updated standings going into a new week of baseball. The New York Yankees leading the way in the hit-by-pitch category with 8 total hit-by-pitches. Right behind them, the Kansas City Royals with 7. The Los Angeles Angels with 6. Tied in a 3-way tie with 5 are the Cincinnati Reds, Houston Astros, and Texas Rangers. The Baltimore Orioles, Chicago Cubs, Colorado Rockies, LA Dodgers, Minnesota Twins, New York Mets, Pittsburgh Pirates, Seattle Mariners, and Toronto Blue Jays are all tied with 4. The Diamondbacks, Guardians, Tigers, Marlins, Brewers, all tied with 3, which is your league average. And then right behind them with 2 apiece are the Phillies, the Padres, the Giants, the Cardinals, and the Nationals. The Athletics, the Braves, the Boston Red Sox and Tampa Bay Rays all have 1. And the final team who has not been hit by a pitch just yet this season, the Chicago White Sox, still part of the Clean Plate Club, they have 0. So the Yankees leading the way going into the new week with your hit-by-pitch category. And right now leading the way in the National League is Starling Marte, who's been hit by 3. And your hit-by-pitch leaders in the American League, which is a huge tie, 8 guys tied with 2 apiece. That is Willie Castro from the Minnesota Twins, Jorge Soler, Jazz Chisholm, MJ Melendez from the Kansas City Royals, Isaac Paredes from the Houston Astros, Adolis Garcia from the Texas Rangers, Cedric Mullins from the Baltimore Orioles, and Julio Rodriguez from the Seattle Mariners are all tied with 2. And your Philadelphia Philly leading the way is still Kyle Schwarber. I witnessed his second hit by pitch today on Sunday. He's leading the way with 2 hit by pitches. So it's the Yankees. Starling Marte is still your leading player across the board with 3. And Kyle Schwarber is your leading Philly in the Platinum Plunk Award standings going into a new week of Major League Baseball, brought to you by Kenwood Beer. Let's wrap the show with some March Madness talk. It's national championship time. It's brought to you by our friends over at FOCO. Guys, we love FOCO. They have been powering our entire tournament coverage from the beginning. It's crazy that we are already here at the end. It flies by so quickly, does March Madness. And you still have a little bit of time to help support us and get some pretty awesome gear from our friends at FOCO. Use our link in the description. Use the link. And when you go to checkout, use code UNDERGROUND10 at checkout, and you will get 10% off your next order from our friends at FOCO now through the end of the tournament. So now through the end of the men's tournament, you can use code UNDERGROUND10 for 10% off your next merch order, apparel order, your entire order from our friends at FOCO when you use our link in the description. And Underground Madness 2025 has been powered by our friends at FOCO. The Final Four has come to a close in the men's side of things, and the women's tournament has wrapped up. On the women's side of things, congratulations to UConn and Philadelphia Eagles fan Gino Auriemma, Paige Beckers. They get the job done. And they seal the deal. A big-time win for UConn. 78-64 was their win against USC. And then in the national championship game, they take it to South Carolina, the other USC. 82-59 the final. Sarah Strong, Azzy Fudd, 24 points each to lead the Huskies. Paige Beckers with 17. They hooped. They balled out. KK Arnold with 9 points in 15 minutes. Diabolical. They were just unbelievable in this game. UConn, a 26-point third quarter, really sealed the deal. A brilliant performance there by Gino and UConn to get the job done. Their first national title since 2016. Paige Beckers gets that ever so elusive national championship for her resume. And Dawn Staley just continues to be the consummate leader for women's basketball. And her quote in the media scrum after was so awesome, where she's talking about how the way that South Carolina's media covers the team, the way they do it is a brilliant job. And if we had people covering teams like this all the time, where you're fans of the team, but you're also critical of the team when you need to be, we would be able to take women's basketball to the moon, pretty much, is what she said in summary, obviously paraphrasing there, but she's right. And that's with any sport. I think Dawn Staley's quote there is valid in any sport. And oddly enough, I was talking to CFO Margie about this before we were, at the Phillies game. It was on our way up. And we were talking about how a big reason I started this company and the concept behind Underground was we're fans bringing the analysis to more fans. And I've talked to Wes Euler about this, friend of the program. People don't want the buttoned-up shirt and tie type analysis as their only approach to sports media. The fans want to be able to not only relate to the players and the coaches and everything that are on the field, they want to relate to the people that are covering the sport off the field. And I think it's so valid. Like, and there was a tweet from somebody who covers the Bengals for ESPN. I apologize for not remembering their name, but there was a tweet that said, I don't envy the next generation of sports reporters who also have to be content creators to gain an audience. But the fact that, you know, some of the things that they shouldn't lose out on is being a fan and rooting for the team that you cover to succeed. I think it's crazy that sports journalism is taught to you in school, and basically the number one thing they tell you off the rip is you have to lose your fandom for whatever team you cover. I don't think that's right. I feel like that's so unauthentic. It's weird. Why would you want to not see the success of whatever team you're covering? I don't care if it's a team that you didn't grow up rooting for. Because in a lot of instances, when you're a sports journalist and you're coming out of college, you're going to these random cities that nobody's ever heard of, and you're working your way up, which is a flawed system in and of itself, but that's a different podcast for a different day. But the fact that we try to strip fandom away from journalists because it's the ethical thing to do is crazy to me. Because writing a story is so much more fun and so much more rewarding when the team that you're covering is having success. Nobody enjoys writing about a losing team. Nobody enjoys podcasting about a losing team. It's not fun. It's very mentally taxing, quite frankly. And the fact that it is like one of the first things that we try to tell like 18, 19-year-olds going into college when they're trying to become the next generation of sports journalists and radio hosts and radio, TV, film majors and TV anchors and podcasters and the like, is that you have to strip yourself of your fandom. I find that crazy, and I don't think that should be how it is. And I'm sure a lot of old heads probably disagree with me right now. But I come from learning to strip yourself of fandom, being taught to me. And then when nobody wants to hire you when you finish college because they want you to have all these years of experience without giving you the opportunity for that, you start your own thing. Like we did here. And then you get to root for your teams and be authentic to your audience. Because just like everyone who listens to this podcast and watches this podcast are rooting day in and day out for the Phillies, are rooting week in and week out for the Eagles, are rooting for, you know, and living and dying with every basket, every goal scored for the Flyers and the Sixers, you know, rooting for the Philadelphia Wings and the Water Dogs, the Union, I'm doing the same thing. Harrison's doing the same thing. For years, Matt, Dom, and Dylan were doing the same thing, and they still are, even though they're not on this show. I think being a fan is what makes sports coverage incredible. It makes it this unique portion of journalism that nobody else really gets to have. And just because in other walks of journalism, there's this fine line, obviously, I don't think that should have to pertain to sports. You can still be a fan while also being critical when the time calls for it. And I just find it strange that so many people want fandom to disappear if you get into this line of work. I just don't find that to be the correct approach. So shout out to Dawn Staley, and she is one of my white whales on this show. The way that I would love to sit down with Coach Dawn Staley and just shoot the breeze about basketball, about Philly sports, about her upbringing in North Philly. I am such a fan. I admire Dawn Staley so much and would love to have her on this podcast. But again, shout out to UConn. Shout out to Gino Ariema, Norristown's own, Philadelphia Eagles fan through and through. Go Birds. And Paige Beckers is a hooper. I can't wait to watch her in the WNBA. And a phenomenal women's tournament that I come just shy of having an elite bracket. I was right there until the end. Needed South Carolina to win, but I finished with 1,500 points out of a potential, I don't know, what's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's 320 times 6? Math is hard, everyone. Out of 1920, I finished with 1,500 points. It's pretty good. Pretty damn good for your boy. And, there's a lot of behind the scenes going into us covering women's sports way more in depth here at Underground. And I would love to add some women podcasters to this staff to join Casey. And I'm already working on some things with WNBA stuff, and it's weird for us because we're a Philly-based company, and to cover teams that there's no Philly team for is tough. But the WNBA is so big that I really want to get the WNBA vibes going this season. When does the WNBA begin? It's soon. May 16th. May 16th. That's good to know. Good to know. Preseason from May 2nd to May 12th. Okay. If we get to 1,100 subscribers before May 1st, WNBA podcast is coming. WNBA podcast is coming. I don't know how we're going to pull it off, but we're going to do it. When we get to 1,100 subscribers, we're bringing a WNBA show to the network. Let's make that happen. The men's Final Four has come and gone. It was all the madness you could have asked for. Florida takes down the overall 1 seed Auburn 79-73 to advance to the championship game. Walter Clayton Jr. is just a fucking dog, man. 34 points in 35 minutes. Elijah Martin was spectacular. Thomas Hoff was great. But, man, Walter Clayton Jr. is a hooper. He's a hooper, man. And, I don't know where he's going to go in the WNBA, where he's going to go in the NBA draft, or if he goes back to college or whatever it may be. But, man, he's a hooper. And he put this team on his back, especially with Alex Condon not having his best game whatsoever against Auburn. Florida came to play. They outlasted multiple guys having double-digit points in this one for Auburn, from Johnny Broome to Chad Baker-Mazara to Denver Jones. Those guys were hooping too. And Florida found a way to overcome an 8-point halftime deficit and lock down on defense. And Auburn was missing shots left and right and only scored 27 points in the second half. And Florida advances to the national championship game. And then we witnessed the ultimate choke job I think I've witnessed in a long time, if not ever, in NCAA history. The Duke Blue Devils go down to the Houston Cougars 70-67. Duke had the lead. I think they had a 6-point lead with like 30 seconds to go and just absolutely choked. Absolutely choked. It was unreal, to say the least. It was a 14-point turnaround. With 8:17 remaining, Duke had a 98.5% chance to win this game. 8 minutes and 17 seconds left. You had a 98.5% chance to win. And Houston went on a 9-0 run in the final 33 seconds. They went on a 25-8 run to close out the game. It tied the second largest Final Four comeback in the last decade. And the craziest part was, yes, Duke choked. Yes, there was a weird foul called on Cooper Flagg in this one. That's not why Duke lost. Duke couldn't inbound to save their lives in the second half. And for most of the game, quite frankly, Duke was horrendous getting the ball back in play. And in the final 10.5 minutes of the second half, Duke made one field goal. And Houston went on a 25-9 run. Houston took 19 shots to Duke's 9. Got 6 offensive rebounds. And Duke had 5 turnovers in that stretch. It's crazy that they blew that lead like that, and Houston earned it. Houston never quit. They battled and made Duke look foolish on the biggest stage, and they choked. That was a choke job. When people use the word choke when it comes to sports and everything, that performance from Duke, that is a choke job. When you have a 98.5% chance to win with under 9 minutes to go, you choked it away. You had it won. And it's almost like Duke got complacent. They took their foot off the gas pedal and felt like they could cruise to the national championship game and forgot they were playing another number 1 seed. They underestimated how tough and gritty Houston was. And Houston recognized that, exploited that, and made Duke play a brand of basketball that they're not accustomed to playing. Duke missed shots. They didn't make a single field goal, like I said. They made one in the last 10.5 minutes of the game. So for half of the second half, more than half of the second half, they made one field goal. Abysmal performance from Duke. Busted a lot of brackets. But our national championship game is set. It will be the Houston Cougars and the Florida Gators Monday night, 8:50 p.m. We will be live streaming. It's going to be one hell of a time. And to give you an update on the bracket here for Underground Madness 2025, presented by FOCO. The leaders in the pack right now. Alyssa's picks has Houston winning it all. She has 1,350 points, 1,670 max remaining. Chalky Talky Ants Time is in second with 1,250 points with 1,570 potential points remaining. Chris Barnes is in third with 1,210 points. The boy, Blaze Reardon, in fourth place with 1,200 points. Zach Leiter is in fifth with 1,180. Miss Purple's B, 1,160. And the winner from the company in the bracket challenge is more than likely going to be the one and only Stephen McAvoy, who I'm going to have to hear that from him on the Getting the Whole podcast on Monday before we go live for the live stream, which will be a doozy. Second place in the company, as long as Florida wins, will be the OG. My dad will finish second. If not, it will be DJ, more than likely, but some other people may pass DJ, depending on if Houston wins or not. Your boy's going to finish in 33rd-ish place with 930 points. Pathetic performance from me this year. Not great, not great. How did I do last year? What was my bracket points last year? 1050. Man, what a fall from grace. At least I picked the champion last year. What did I do in 2023? I lost my champion. I was bad in 2023. Wow. I was bad in 2023. I had 520 points. Holy moly. What did I do wrong? I had San Diego. Oh, that was just a bad year with upsets. That's why. I had UCLA over Houston. I had Alabama over Kentucky. I lost. That's right. That was a year I lost like Kentucky in the first day. 2023 was a bad year. That's why I try to forget that, John. But yeah, crazy look at our bracket right now and looking at the bracket forecast. If I can pull this up here. Group forecast. Alyssa's picks. Just needs Houston to win. Chalky Talky needs Florida to win. Blaze cannot win, but he can finish top 3 if Houston were to win. Same with Worley 360. And Chris Barnes would need Florida to win to finish top 3. So basically the winners of the bracket, it comes down to Chalky Talky and Alyssa's picks. You guys are forecasted as the potential winners. You're going toe-to-toe with one another. Houston wins. Alyssa's picks will win. Florida wins. Chalky Talky is winning. We will be reaching out to you guys to hook you up with the prize pack from FOCO. So if you can make your bracket your Twitter handle or your Instagram handle, that'd be great so we can reach out to you. But right now it's a battle between two fans, which is really cool. We love seeing listeners and followers battling it out in our bracket challenge. So yeah, we will see how it all shakes out. Like I said, we will be live for the national championship game on Monday night, breaking it all down, which is nice because the Phils are off. They have a travel day, playing the Braves. It's always a doozy playing that team. Got to take advantage of the worst team in baseball. That's for damn sure. We gotta win. We gotta win down in Atlanta. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. Make sure you are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. Subscribe to the pod on. I have breaking news. Breaking news. Da-da-da. Da-da-da. Breaking news, according to Jeff Passan and Keegan Matheson from MLB.com, the Toronto Blue Jays have signed Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to a 14-year, $500 million contract extension. A 14-year, $500 million contract extension for Vladdy Jr. And now it makes my prediction for midseason look foolish. I said the Phillies were going to trade for Vladdy. That ain't happening. Congrats to Vladdy. He deserves it for sure. But now, my focus is Emmanuel Clase. That's my main focus for the Phillies right now, especially if the Guardians continue to be bad. Let's go get an elite closer to lock things down in the 9th inning for the postseason. All eyes on Emmanuel Clase as Vladdy Jr. breaks some news here at the end of the pod with a 14-year, $500 million contract extension. Hot diggity damn. Like I said, though, make sure you guys are following us on the socials at Underground PHI across the board. You can follow me on Twitter at KBIZZL311, KBIZZLE11 on Instagram and Threads. Subscribe to the pod. Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave us a 5-star review. It goes a long way for helping this show continue to grow and helps us keep doing more dope stuff with and for you guys. Subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel, youtube.com/@UndergroundSportsPhiladelphia. That is where you get full video episodes of this show twice a week, full video episodes of every show on our network, clips, shorts, live streams, original video content. It is all on our YouTube channel. We are 49 subscribers away from our next milestone. Let's keep that rolling. Let's keep it moving. Subscribe. And a little bit of company news here at the end. Real ones, if you got to the end here. The first Underground Circuit watch party. If you're an F1 fan, if you're a Casey and Owen fan, if you're an Underground Sports Philadelphia fan and you want to go support one of our franchises, the first Underground Circuit watch party for the Formula One Bahrain Grand Prix will be April 13th at Schuylkill Banks Human Robot Schuylkill Banks location, 2401 Walnut Street in Philly. Lights out at 11 a.m. So a nice little early afternoon start for the Bahrain GP watch party at Schuylkill Banks location for Human Robot. We love Human Robot. They are so good to Underground Circuit with Casey and Owen. It's an awesome spot too to go and watch sports in general. They're big F1 people there, obviously, but there's a lot of stuff to do with the Formula One stuff and sports at Human Robot Schuylkill Banks. So if you're in the area, you want to go hang out with Casey and Owen, we will have a watch party for the Bahrain GP, April 13th, 2401 Walnut Street in Philly. Lights out at 11 a.m. So come through, pull up, and go hang with Casey, Owen, and the Underground Circuit crew because it's going to be a doozy of a time. Going to be a lot of fun. So go check that out for sure. And this show is proudly presented by the city of Vineland. And whether you're a company looking to expand, relocate, or you're a new business startup, selecting the right location is critical to your success. Vineland, New Jersey offers both an affordable business location and an excellent quality of life. The city's economic development department is a one-stop source for moving your project through the development and approval process, and their goal is to make this process as smooth as possible and to provide the fastest turnaround times in the region. If you're considering potential locations for your operation, contact the Vineland Economic Development Team at 856-794-4100. That's 856-794-4100. Vineland, New Jersey, where it's always growing season. And big thank you to Security 21 Security Systems and Paul J. Gillespie Incorporated for their continued support of this podcast. This has been episode number 731, a huge series-winning celebration episode of Underground Sports Philadelphia. I'm your boy KB. I hope your Monday's as positive as all of you guys are. And we will see you on Thursday. Harrison will be back, and we'll be breaking down Phil's Braves. We'll be gearing up for a Cardinals series. We'll be talking about the NCAA championship, recapping all of that. And it's Masters Week on Get in the Hole. A lot of fun stuff coming this week, and I can't wait to talk about all of it with you guys as we keep things pushing. But thanks for tuning in this week, this episode. I'll see you on Thursday with HK, but until then, I'm getting the heck up out of here. I'm signing off. Go Phils. Peace.